Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, I want to welcome you guys, and it looks like we have several people that just jumped on that I have not recognized, but thanks you guys for being on an extra call on Saturday morning. This is Lisa Bell Henson, and we're so excited to have Lisa Hall on today. This is a special meeting. Lisa, you guys know, needs no introduction. Our team adores her, but her professional background is entrepreneur. She's a healthcare professional, starting as a nurse, transitioning to a ER physician. She's practiced medicine. She has conducted multi-million dollar business, both traditional and in the direct selling space. She is a pioneer, and her pioneering work in social media has led us to some really new ways of learning how to fill our funnel. And so we were on a meeting this past week, and Lisa so graciously volunteered to share her method of helping fill the funnel. And she said, I'll wake up early, I'll make some PowerPoints, and I'll teach your team. So Lisa Hall, thank you so much for all that you do. And I'm going to turn the floor over to you.
Well, thank you very much for that kind introduction, Lisa. It's always so nice to work with you guys and this team. I really enjoy the time I spend with you. So today, at the end of today, I want you to say, I was taught today in 1 hour how to make $1 million. Now, some of you might think that was kind of crazy, but the question is not whether I'll teach it today. The question is, will you implement the simple, easy to follow plan with consistency, focus, and persistence daily until you make your $1 million? So it's all about our daily mode of operation. And, daily mode of operation is number one in building your business. So it doesn't matter whether you're building your business 3 days a week, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, or 24 hours a day. It's all about what you're doing in that amount of time. So I'm going to go really slow today. I'm going to have you guys keep me honest here, because, I always talk too fast. So I'm really working hard at not doing that today. And we're going to talk about the 10 questions that you are away from massive growth in your network marketing business. What I'm going to teach you today is not something I knew, or it's just something I learned from a massive social media guru in the marketplace. And it's called FAMATQFU. And what it stands for is find, add message, ask the question, and follow up. So I have slides here that you can actually just screenshot the slides and get most of the information I'm giving you today. So I'd like for you not to take so many notes and just to try to listen, because it doesn't really work, because I'm going to give you some questions and things like that. If you have to say the questions over and over and over, it would take so much time. And it is going to be recorded. So you can go back and listen to it. Having a problem. Can everybody mute out? Some reason we're getting some feedback, or am I the only one that's getting the feedback? Thank you. And so if you can, try to just screenshot or take a picture with your phone of the slides, and you'll have most of the information then without me having to reread a question multiple times for you to get the exact,
Hey, Lisa, we're still getting some feedback. I don't know if you can check and make sure everybody's muted.
Yeah, I'm not. It looked like they were, but just a second. I have, when I put the slides up, oh, here we go.
Thank you.
I think for some reason. So it looks like Patty's the one that's not muted, but it won't allow me to mute her. So I don't know.
It says I'm muted, and when I push mute, it's got the red line through it. So okay. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, no worries. Fine. Sometimes there's a glitch in the system, right? All right. So, what we're going to do today is just add new eyes to your business every single day. Every single day that you do this daily mode of operation, you'll add some new people to your business. And that's probably the hardest thing for people to do in this business and industry. So we're going to talk first about find, add message. This is really, really simple, you guys. So don't try to, I always try to complicate things. And quite honestly, when I first learned this, I didn't do it because I thought it was too simplistic and I didn't think it'd work. And now I'm putting 100 to 200 new people a month in my business doing this, and only this, not even including everything else that I do. So First thing we're gonna do is find people. So the first thing that people ask is, where do I find people? Well, they're all over social media, right? You can use this for everything. It doesn't matter whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on Pinterest, whether you're using LinkedIn, everywhere. And you can also use this for your business belly to belly when you're out, walking and talking, when you're out doing your daily activities for your life and your family. You can do it there too. So you can find people anywhere. Um, one of the things that I think is interesting is that people tend to just add all kinds of people to their business. But, we all have a niche. We all have a certain kind of person that's attracted to us, whether they're attracted to us because they like us and what we do, or they like us because they want to be like us, or they like us because they see us as a successful person, or sometimes there's just chemistry, right? And so you never know exactly where your niche is if you don't think about it and don't plan it out. So you kind of have to figure out your niche. So just for an example, if I was to go and try to attract young mothers with small children, that's not my niche, because the bottom line is that they can't relate to me, right? I'm a grandmother, I'm 61, I've lived my whole life. So I need to talk to people that are more like me. Does that mean I'm limited on any age group? Of course not. If I have the opportunity and it comes forward, I have a member of my team right now that's only 26 years old. So it's not always a given thing, but think about who you're trying to attract and who you want to find. And not just everyone. So be a little more specific. We're going to talk today about how to do that, and we're going to talk about what to say and what not to say. And so once we find that person, we're gonna actually introduce ourselves, explain to them why we're messaging them, and add them as a friend on Facebook, or ask them to add their, or us as a friend. Of course, you know that you have to ask always. You don't, it used to be you could just add people in. It doesn't work that way anymore. So by adding, we're going to send a friend request, tell them in the message that we included why we requested their friend request, why we initiated a conversation. And I'm going to show you all this. So don't, we're going very, very slowly here. So don't get worried that I'm not going to show you how to do it. I'm actually going to go to Facebook and show you how I do this. And then sometimes, or a lot of times, honestly, people won't answer you. And so the next question is, well, if I send a friend request and I send a message and they don't answer, what do? You message again. And you make that determination how many times you message. But here's the thing, I'll be honest with you. I found somebody on my friend request list the other day that'd been there about 6 months and I had not even noticed it. And it's actually a friend of mine from, a long time ago in my life that I haven't seen in like 40 years. And I never even noticed she was on my list, right? So be persistent. I mean, and most of these messages, I suggest you copy them on, depending on what you're using, whether it's your phone or your computer or whatever. I do most of mine on my phone. So I just put it in my notes section, and I have what I'm going to say written out for the most part. And then I just copy that into the message. So I'm not typing all these up every single day. I just copy them across. And I'm going to tell you, exactly what to say today. So you kind of, and of course you're always going to be changing that when people respond and stuff, but we're talking about initial messages. And then once they do answer, the next thing you want to do is kind of build that relationship. So maybe this is somebody you kind of know in the community. Maybe it's a total stranger, which in most situations for me, it's a total stranger. So, these number 4 is Lord. That's things I use: location, occupation, recreation, and dreams. That's what I think of to talk about, because we got to have something to talk about. Now, usually there's a reason I message them, and I'll show you how that works into the conversation, but these are things that you can bring up to talk about. Now, here's the thing that's really, really great about social media, different than when we're talking to our friends or even our acquaintances in our community or, whatever else. It doesn't take as long to be able to ask that question. On average, when I find, add, and message somebody, I've asked the question within 3 to 4 days, literally. And 2 things happen here. Because you're talking to a stranger, number 1, you're not so concerned about, what are they going to think about me, or, am I going to upset them, or am I going to lose my friendship or whatever, because you just met this person on social media and maybe you send them 3 messages. You don't have a lot, a lifetime of friendship invested, right? So, think about that in just 3 interactions or 4 interactions, wherever you're comfortable, you'll know the right time to ask the question, but you can be asking the question about your product, your business, or whatever else you want to ask about. And so I really like that aspect because things just go faster. If I'm going to get a no, I'd rather get a no sooner than later. Doesn't mean I don't follow up a lot, but when I get a no, I believe it and move on. So these pictures, just for interest sake, are from my scuba diving because I love to dive. So I'll share some of my scuba diving pictures today. So we're going to talk about asking the question. So this is literally the question, and I would just recommend you screenshot this because it's a long question. So, hey, Mary, just curious, would you be open to some information on a game-changing way to, and it depends on what you're asking about, right? Number 1, earn extra money on the side. Number 2, learn about 40 ways to improve your health every day with one little change to your daily habits. Obviously, I'm talking about glow there, but you could put, a paper that you've created or something also and use there. 3, be happier every single day doing something you're already doing daily. Lastly, no worries if not, just thought I would ask. So here you've asked the question very casually, right? And you've not been spammy or like salesperson or any of that. You've just asked it very, very concisely, clearly. You've not gone on a lot. You've made it very short. And then that last line lets them off the hook. No worries. If not, just thought I would ask. That is one of the most important parts of this question because people like to buy, but they don't like to sell, right? Be sold to, sorry. And so if they think it's their choice to answer the question, then they're more likely to answer the question. It's all psychology. But so I literally, tell people your inclination is to change this up because you say, well, it doesn't sound like me, or, you can change it a little bit. I change it a little bit once in a while, but in general, this is what you want to say. There's a lot of psychology behind this. And so when I say ask the question, this is literally what I mean. So say I was talking to Mary about, glow. I would probably just say, hey, Mary, just curious, would you be open to some information on a game-changing way to learn about 40 ways to improve your health every day with one little change to your daily habits? No worries if not, just thought I would ask. You see how that's not, it's not challenging at all. It doesn't really sound that spammy or, it just says, are you interested or are you not, right? And so here's some more questions, and you can use whatever question you like or you feel most comfortable with. I know these are small, but if you screenshot them, you can blow them up. I was trying to get them all on one page. Hey, Bob, quick one. Has anyone ever spoken to you about blank? And your blank could be hemp, CBD, health and wellness, alternative medicine. Hey, Mary, random one. What do you know about blank? And then number 3 is one that I add in when I'm actually usually sent a tool. When do you have 20 minutes to take out of your life to then take the rest of your life off? And that can stand by itself too. That one's a good one. Think about it a minute because they have to think about this one. It really gets their attention. When do you have 20 minutes to take out of your life to then take the rest of your life off? I get a lot of appointments with that question right there. It's one of my best ones, honestly. Hey, Bob, noticed you went quiet on me because everybody ghosts us, right? That's normal to be ghosted. If you're not being ghosted at least 20 or 30 times a week, then you're not really doing what you need to do in your daily method of operation, whichever one you're choosing to use, right? Hey, Bob, noticed you went quiet on me. Maybe you're not interested or the timing is wrong right now. But if you could let me know, I'd appreciate it. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm always responding every time with another question. Why am I always responding with a question? Because people feel obligated to answer a question. So it's harder for them to ghost you if you always ask a question. Next one, number 5. Are you ready? So this is maybe I sent them a tool or I made an appointment to send them a tool, right? And so then I say, are you ready? And then when they answer me, I say, I'm going to send you a link. It takes about 20 minutes to review. You'll be done by, 10:35. I'll contact you then. Does that sound fair? Again, always end with a question. People feel obligated to answer a question. So this is one place where it's really important to posture up, you guys. Only give a link out with an appointment. If you're just sending links out randomly, 99% of the people you're sending them to are probably never watching them. Posture up, make them make an appointment with you, and then give them the link with the appointment. Otherwise, you're just really wasting your time. But once they make the appointment with you, you get on there and you say, okay, watch this for 20 minutes and then we're going to talk again. So much more success. Your numbers will go way up. When we finish with them watching whatever tool I sent to them, I say, what did you like best? Right? That's our best question. What did you like best? And then remember, talk only about what they bring up. Okay? Talk only about what they bring up. Don't start defending things or talking about things or bringing up objections that they didn't bring up, because if they didn't bring them up, they're probably not an objection for them, right? And then get on a three-way if you can, right? Because that's the next step, right? That's the next step. That's a step that lots of people miss. And, you know, one of the things that I like to tell my team really strongly about is that, you know what? I don't care if you set me up for 100 three-ways and 99 of them don't show up for that call. Doesn't matter to me, because I always tell, you know, I always set my three-ways up ahead of time. And so it doesn't matter if 99 people don't show up. If one does, that could be the one that earns $1 million, right? So people are going to not show up. People are going to ghost. You know, I do all the things that you're supposed to do, confirm and everything else. It happens to all of us. So don't be embarrassed or upset if you set up a three-way and somebody doesn't show up, or somebody doesn't, you know, participate, or somebody doesn't, you know, want to continue. It happens to all of us. Don't worry about that. Take that and just put it in the back pocket and say, I'm always going to do a three-way, because that's the next step. And then number 6, when you get done with a three-way, this is a really great question. I've heard Lisa say this before on my three-ways with her. Is there anything else you need to know right now in order to get started today? Right? You're asking the question. You're asking the question again, because if you don't call to action, they're not going to ask you if they can sign up. I mean, it happens on a rare occasion, right? But it's not normal. So is there anything else you need to know right now in order to get started today? And then if they don't come up with anything, you say, then great, sounds like you're ready to get started. Again, all of these are questions, right? People are obligated to answer questions. And sometimes you get this far and then they go, no, I'm not really interested. If that happens, your next statement is, if not, can I keep you posted on my progress? Right? So you always want to leave that door open. I've had people that didn't sign up with me for 3 years, and then, you know, we're in the top of my company. So it doesn't matter. Always leave that door open. And sometimes they'll say no, and then you just say next and move on. Okay. Always, always, always control that conversation, you guys. Control the conversation. You're in control as long as you're asking questions, because very few people can let it go by and not answer a question. It does happen, but not near as many as you'd think. And this one final one is really, really important. So everyone that likes, loves, drops an emoji or comments on my post, I try to answer, I try to respond to them. I don't always, but it's a good thing to try to do. It starts conversations, right? It takes you to the next step. Some people are shy and they're interested, but they're, you know, too shy to make a comment or do the thing that, you know, you told them to do, or maybe they just missed the call of action. So this one final question is, hey, Mary, thanks for the love and or comment on my post. Was curious, were you just showing support? If so, thank you. Or were you interested in information about whatever it was that you were talking about in the post, the comment, the reel, whatever it is, my business, my product, way to make money on the side, whatever it is. And so you would be really shocked when you start doing this, how many people will respond back that they want information, but they were just embarrassed to ask. So when I don't ever, I mean, if you guys are, most of you guys are friends with me, you know that I don't post about Zalise and I don't post about the name of our products on my Facebook page. In fact, you probably would never even know I was in the business, right? But when I did my post about Glow, because I had lost a lot of weight and I was really excited about it, I wanted to share it with the people that I loved, which are the people on my Facebook, right? I went to every single person that commented or that left an emoji or that showed like or love, and I sent this out. And I doubled the number of people that bought glow off of that one post. I ended up selling 77 bags of glow off that one post. But I went to every single person, right? So it really does make a big difference. This question can make make or break something, because what if one of those people that you bring in has been silently watching you from the sidelines going, how does she live in a motorhome and travel around and pay $5.59 for diesel, right? Sorry, that was from this week. You get it. You know, I mean, how does she go to all those places? How does she go in the hot air balloon? How does she this? How does she that? They may have been watching you all along, but they're too shy or embarrassed or scared to ask or scared it's something they can't do, right? So this question is worth a fortune right there. So you can use this tool on Facebook, IG, Pinterest, LinkedIn, person to person, literally anywhere. Okay. Using this method, this daily method of operation, this will be huge for you. And so last but most important in this is follow up, right? Every single day. Follow up with the people that you find, added, messaged. Follow up with the people that you asked the question. Follow up with people that you made appointments for tools. Follow up with new product users. The biggest failure in every kind of business, not just network marketing, is failure to follow up with your clients, the people that have shown interest or whatever. Okay. So we're going to beep up over here. Give me a second, because I'm not, me, I'm not the person that's technically able to do all this. Two things I wanted to bring to this today is a tracking sheet that I use that I got from that same social media guru that taught me this. It's, if you can see at the top, it tells you, how many times did I find, add, message? How many times did I ask the question? It reminds you of the Lord and the direct or the indirect. Did I directly ask the question? That's important to know. Or did I indirectly kind of hint around about it? Did I give them a tool to review opportunity or product? How many follow-ups did I do? On Follow-up Friday, I do follow-ups every single day, because I find that if you go more than 36 hours without following up with someone, you're likely to lose that person because they're on to the next great thing. How many social media posts did I do? Not just stories, but actual posts, because stories only stay 24 hours, right? Stories are awesome. I'm going to tell you a trick here in a minute to stories, but social media posts, they stay there. So people see them days afterwards, right? They see them days later, where a story only stays 24 hours. Nothing wrong with stories, but you want to do it in addition to post. How many new customers did I get this week? How many new teamies did I get this week? How many Facebook followers did I get? How many Instagram followers? And last and most important, this is something I include in my life every single day. 3 things I'm grateful for this week and my win for the week. Because if you're always thinking positive and are always looking forward and you're always figuring out what was the great thing that happened this week, then you're going to have a better business, a better life, everything. So top tips on this, the average of this, and they've taken huge numbers. These gurus take huge numbers. On average, the number of ask the questions to get a customer is 26, and to get a teamie is 111. Could you ask that question? Roughly 140 times a week? If it would get you 26, if it would get you a new customer and a new team member every single week. Every 26 person would be a customer. Every 111th person would be a team. Now, I will tell you that depending on how you ask them and how you go about it and how you find your people, what do you do? You make sure you stay inside your niche and whatever, that those numbers can get skewed much better. You can do it a lot less. But first, starting out, people that are brand new and learning this technique, those are the numbers. And if you even had 140 people a week to talk to and ask the question, wouldn't that be awesome? How many people had 140 new people to talk to last week? Come on, guys. So if you guys want this form, if you'll send me in Messenger a text that just says form, or send me a message on the Team Unlimited page where we advertise this, then I'll make sure the form gets to you, because the easiest way to send this to you is just to send it in a link. Okay, so now give me a second here. I want to show you another trick for your team real quick. Sorry, this thing gets in the way for me. That takes me a minute to get it out of the way. Okay. I move it to the bottom of the page and the computer moves it back to the top. So a lot of you guys I know are doing Becky's project broadcast things. So I just wanted to show you this. This is really cool. This has been a great tool for me. So you can actually make a little form like Becky's making Google Forms. And you can actually make a little form like this and send it out to your team member every single week.
Yes.
Okay. Can everybody mute again? Because we're getting a lot of feedback here. Sorry. Thank you.
You're not going to be building.
Somebody's still not muted there.
I know. I'm looking. Just a second. I can't find out who.
Sorry, I'd help you if I could.
I know.
It sounds like Ted.
Yeah, it's funny that today it's not showing up very well. Ted, can you mute out again?
I am muted. I have no idea. There's no noise here at my house. I went off the meeting and came back on to see if it took care of it, but I am muted.
Okay. All right. So anyway, you can send this form. You can send this form out to your team every single week. And this is something that I've learned with, having a team, is that even if you send us out every week and they don't all send it back to you, because remember, you can just put it in project broadcast and set it for Friday at 9 a.m. And every Friday at 9 a.m., everybody on the team is going to get this little accountability form, right? And it just asks them, how many people did you find add message this week? And you can change what it says. How many new people did you talk to if you like that better? Whatever you want to put on here. But if you send this form out every single week to your team, a lot of times they won't answer you initially, but then all of a sudden they'll start answering you. It's pretty crazy, because when they keep getting it every week, they think, oh, I guess I should be doing this. And then they'll start doing it. And then once they start doing it, they'll keep doing it. Okay. So think about doing a form like this. I mean, a form in Project Broadcast is so simple. You put in your team members on the contact, and it goes out every Friday morning at 9. And I had some people that were really resistant, like they got it for a couple of weeks and didn't do anything. And all of a sudden they start filling it out. Okay. And you don't care if they even fill it out with all zeros, as long as they fill it out, because it means they're thinking about it. They're doing it, right? They're doing something. So I'm going to show you really quick. I used the kids, one of the kids groups, because I want to show you. So we talked about a little bit about, how do you do this? I'm going to show you how I would do this. I'm not going to actually do it on this page, but I know I can't get in trouble. So when you're looking for groups, you want a group that's public, right? Because if the group's public, it's easier to take people in and out of the group as far as move them onto your pages and things. Sometimes, it's up to you if it's a group you already belong to. Like I belong to, me and my puppies. I belong to a lot of puppy groups. I love vegetarian and vegan cooking. So I belong to a lot of cooking groups. I love to travel. So I belong to a lot of travel groups. And if you don't feel comfortable doing it in your group, start out doing it in a group that you don't belong to. Like, this group, you could belong to this group without, you could come and do this group without belonging to it because it's public, right? So any group that's listed as public. So what I do is I find something that's interesting to me. So here's a guy that's asking a question about radios in Canada. Well, I've been all through Canada for the last 4 years, multiple times. So I could answer this question. So what I would do is I'd go in and answer this question, give him a good answer to this question, and like his post, right, and give him an answer. And then I'd probably let it sit for a while because I want him to get to know me, right? I want him to recognize me from the group and who I am. So here it is, I could go in and say on this one, wow, what a cool, setup you got there, blah, 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 blah. You just go in and make comments about things. If this guy has an electrical question, if I can answer it, I answer it. So the point is you just take a few minutes to get people to know you in the group if you've never been there before. You only have to answer 3 or 4 posts. You can do it in 2 or 3 minutes, right? Like here's somebody asking about the trek to Alaska. I can answer all kinds of questions about that, right? So, you find something that you can say, you like people's posts, you get visible on the group, because if you just come in and start trying to grab people, it's not going to work, right? So then, I might go here and say, oh, cool. John wants to take a trip to, from Ohio to Anchorage, blah, blah, blah. I'm curious what he does that he has enough time to take this trip. Because, most people spend a month or two doing this trip, right? So I might make friends with him and say, hey, John, I send a friend request and I say, hey, John, on that, you can message. I met up with you on the Alaska Overland Travelers group. I answered a couple of your questions on your post about your trip from Ohio to Anchorage. Great trip you're going to have. I've been up and down that route, 20 sometimes, and it's so much fun. There's so much to see, blah, blah, blah. And just, keep talking, right? And make friends. That's all you're doing. You're making friends, right? And hopefully from your message and your friend request, he's going to accept your friend request, right? And sometimes, like, I have a lot of pictures of me standing at the beginning of the Alcan with my coach. I'll put a picture in there too. Add a picture. Picture always gets somebody to open a message. 80% more of the time, they'll open your message if you add a picture. And so I do that. And then, hopefully John sees that message and sees that and accepts my friendship, right? And then I do Lord, remember, location, occupation, recreation, dreams. I start asking, obviously, his dreams to go to Alaska. I start talking about, what are you most excited about to see in Alaska, blah, blah, blah. Do you have kids? Are you traveling with kids or just you and your wife? What kind of work do you do that you're able to take off a long period of time to, travel to Alaska? I'm just making conversation, you guys. That's all it is. It's just very simple. And you can type up a post like that in 5 minutes, right? Always end with a question. Remember, always end with a question. So after about 2 or 3 days of this, and especially after asking about his occupation, I would probably say, hey, John, and then I would ask the question, right? And the thing is that what have I lost if John says no? 3 or 4 minutes, right? What have I gained if John says yes, and I find out that he wants a location independent business that he can do out of his camper or motorhome or whatever he's going to drive to Alaska, so that he can travel all around the US and possibly all around the world. So think about that when you're doing this. And what's the worst that's happened? I've made a friend of John who's going to Alaska, and he's going to share some great pictures when he goes to Alaska this summer, right? And I'm going to get to share and see them. You see how simple that is? And you can go anywhere and do that. You could go anywhere, any kind of group, cooking group, doggy group, travel group. I noticed that Deborah Way loves beautiful homes. She can go in her beautiful home group to the South and find friends there. All you're doing is making friends, guys. And then it only takes 3 or 4 back and forth with you always ending on a question, because people they really think they have to answer the questions, right? That keeps that conversation going. And then you ask the question. If he says no, I haven't lost anything. I'm like, remember the last statement of the ask the question? No worries, just thought I'd ask, right? John and I'll stay friends. When John realizes after he follows me on Facebook for a while that I just travel around the world, will do whatever I want, whenever I want, he might come back and ask me the question, right? So it's literally just that simple. There's nothing more to it. It's not any more complicated than that. And so I want you to think about these numbers, okay? So if you, on average, in about, I do this for 20 minutes at a time, because I find that otherwise I get caught on the scroll. Maybe you're more disciplined than I am, but I don't want to get to, so I'm just scrolling Facebook, right? So I do it, I set a timer, I'm working for 20 minutes. This is my purpose, right? So I may spend the whole 20 minutes finding people on, 3 groups to ask the question, or to find add message or ask the question, or wherever I'm at, right? Or it may be my day for asking the question. And I go back to everybody that I find added message yesterday that accepted my friend request, and I start the conversation, right? And maybe it's the day to ask them the question that day. Whatever it is, I spend 20 minutes at a time. Sometimes I'll do 3 of those a day. I'll do 20 in the morning, I'll do 20 at lunchtime when I take a break, and I'll do 20 minutes in the evening, right? And so, that's ends up being an hour a day, but it doesn't feel like that because you just did 20 minutes a time. I always set a timer so I don't get caught in the scroll, and I'm absolutely working. I don't get distracted. If I see something I want to look at on Facebook, I click on it so it'll, I'll remember it later, but when I'm working, I only work. If you did that, 3 days a week, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, I can get as many, I easily every month get more than 100. And usually it's more like 300 to 400 new friends doing that. Okay. And then what happens is that I start asking the question. And you would be shocked how many people out there will be interested in your product, your business, or whatever. And sometimes, you have to direct what you're doing to what kind of question you'd be asking. It's not likely that I would ask John if he's interested in Glow, unless he gives me something in our conversation to indicate that he might be interested in Glow. I might ask him about the coffee, right? Because he's going to be traveling. I would say, hey, I have this really wonderful coffee, right? That comes in little individual packages, and you wouldn't have to worry about getting it wet when you're traveling to Alaska, and you can have your coffee every morning with just a little bit of warm water, blah, 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 whatever. So do you see how easy it is? It's just think about what you have to offer, what you're looking for, and then just make friends. That's all it is. You take strangers and you make them into friends, and you eventually bring them in as family to your team. It's so, so simple. There was something I wanted to tell you about, and oh, okay, I know what it was. So tip here, really, really great tip. Stories, okay? You see all those stories across the top of your Facebook every day now when you open it? And sometimes, honestly, they're annoying to me because they distract me. And that's what they're meant to do, right? They're up there to distract you. Same thing with Reels. They're there to distract you. If you click on a story on Facebook or Instagram or anything where it's actually a story, that messages that person directly that moment and notifies them immediately. So you don't have to wait for them to see your friend request or your message that you sent. They see it immediately. And people, it's a new thing, so people are really attuned to it. So try this for yourself. Put a story up. A lot of you guys are doing really great stories, by the way, but put a story up and, as soon and watch what happens when somebody comments on it, or even just sends a heart or just sends an emoji. You immediately get notification of that. So that's a backdoor way into doing this faster, right? Because once you message someone and they answer you, what do you do then? You immediately send them a friend request. And then you message them and say, hey, I just love, your stories are always so cute, watching your kids and everything, and then do the whole, Lord thing again, location, occupation, recreation, and like it out on the last one, Lisa, dreams, right? And so that's the thing is like, there's so many ways to get people's attention nowadays. And same thing with TikToks and Reels and all those things. If you comment on them, they go directly into people's DMs, and it'll be faster. So that's a tip to make it faster. Okay. So now I really want you guys to ask questions. Anything that I wasn't clear about that you want to ask questions about, do you need more clarification on? This is the time to do that. Okay.
Hey,
So,
Lisa,
fire away.
I want to just jump out there and just ask great information, just really, really good information. I can tell that I've just not done the numbers in social media. So it's good to know the numbers to see, exactly how many contacts and how many conversations you have to have. But just curious, when you ask the question and say somebody has an interest, what are your favorite tools? You mentioned a 20-minute link that you share with people.
Okay. So for me, because these are total strangers, right? And I'm different than everybody else, and you guys already know that. So I'm going to feel free to say this, but you have to do what feels right for you. But a lot of people, when they send a tool, they'll just send the recorded company opportunity. But these are people you don't even know. These are total strangers, right? And so for me, my 20-minute tool is a little recording about me and basically asking them if they have ever thought about having their own business, if they would like to mentor, like a mentor in starting a business, that kind of thing. Or I'll do that. Or what I like to do even better than that is, instead of sending a tool, I ask them for 20 minutes of their time and I get on a phone call with them. And what I do on that 20-minute phone call is I forget I exist. I make the whole world about that person, and I have a set of questions. I call it my interview. It's kind of a joke with my team members after they come on, because they've all went through it. number one, I want to know if this person has any interest in what I'm doing. But number two, I want to know if this is somebody that I can and want to work with, because that's very important to me. And from then, after I've determined that we could work together, then I lead them to a second call, and I'm more likely to discuss the opportunity, the product, whatever we're discussing at that point in time. And that's mainly for business. Now, if I'm just doing product, a lot of times I send my landing page for Glow or my landing page for my coffee if I'm just doing product. And I would say, you know, I'm up to somewhere over 95%. I haven't looked at my numbers the last 30 days, but over 95% of selling Glow and coffee just in a messenger. I think I've only, in the month of February, only 4 or 5 times did I even talk to somebody about the product on the phone. And the rest of the time I sold everything through Messenger. So, you know, that's, you know, and that's everybody's own preference. I'm just very, very busy, and I would rather spend my time talking to someone about the business than the products.
Excellent. Very innovative.
So I know you guys have some questions. If you have them, someone else has them. So go ahead and ask, and we'll.
Lisa,
Mm,
I have a question. I'm sorry, I have a little bit of laryngitis. You said that this was going to be recorded, and I guess it'll be put on our team page.
right. Lisa's gonna,
Okay.
Lisa takes care of it. That's her job.
Okay, no, perfect, because I was just listening and taking pictures of the, you know, your slides, and I wanted to make sure to go back to be able to take notes.
Right. And sometimes it's just nice to, what I do with a lot of the YouTube trainings, like, because I love, that's why Lisa puts them on YouTube, is I start it and I do what, you know, I just do one part of it. Like I go and, you know, listen to the find ad message part, and then I go do a whole bunch of find ad message that day. Then the next day when I, you know, go to do it, you know, I'm ready, I listen to the question part. And then it's easier to keep things straight and kind of figure out where you're going. And you have the questions right there in front of you. And you can change those questions. It doesn't mean you have to use those questions. But the social guru that teaches this, I mean, he is considered, you know, in the top 3 in the world right now. He has huge success with this, with his people. I mean, he really sees a lot of people moving very, very rapidly to 6-figure income in the business, just using this very simple little tool. And so for me, if he's already proven that the questions work, let's use the questions, right? That was a very long answer to a very short question, wasn't it?
Thank you.
Yes, no
Hey,
problem.
Lisa, this is Jenny Todd. I just want to thank you for taking your time with just this fascinating information, and I just appreciate you. We all only have so many minutes in a day, and I thank you very much for sharing, and all you want to do is help people, and I just thank you very much. It's been awesome.
Well, thank you, Jenny. You're so sweet. You're always so sweet. I missed stopping. You could see you guys on the way up here, but I was driving pretty fast when I went by.
For some reason, I can believe that of you. If you drive as fast as you're able to talk, you are flying, honey.
Actually, you would laugh. I only drive 57 miles an hour. It was a joke.
I don't, no, your car only goes over 75.
You'd be shocked.
Hey,
Now,
Lisa,
my
if it's any
airplane on the other side.
encouragement, Lisa, it's Patty. If it's any encouragement to you, I talk really fast too, so I can understand you really well. Thanks.
Good.
Thank you
I
for
thought
this
I did
morning. It
really
was
good
great.
today. Did I talk too fast today?
No, you did good, but people accuse me of that all the time, so I can understand you perfectly well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This was amazing information.
No problem. I just hope it helps.
Hey,
Now
Lisa.
it's just implementing it. Yes.
You can go ahead and stop the recording if you haven't.
Okay. Nope, I forgot about the recording.